Welcome.
Welcome.
This is Survival Coloring. I am Lisa Mitrokin, and this is my lovely assistant tech support.
Hola.
And this is day 11?
You only have 10 fingers.
This is day 11?
You know what you need?
What?
You need a 6-fingered man.
Where can I find
I was
such
gonna
a
say you need a
treasure?
5-fingered man, but you already have a 6-fingered man, like in The Princess Bride.
Oh yeah, totally. Those are hard to find.
Yeah, well, you know what? I
What?
happen to know one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you hook me up?
This is day 11! Yeah!
I am totally unprepared.
Right.
Can I borrow one of those fingers?
Yeah, you take that one. You should rip it off. Ow!
Oh my god! I believe I fell for that.
Well, the other one would be like, pull my finger.
How fitting is all of this? Because today we'll be talking about children and how to deal with them in this time of quarantine. I've been dealing with this child for 12 years? 13 years?
You've known me now since like May of 2006.
Right. Like a century
I still
ago.
don't know why you put up with me. Every year on
Because
our
you're
anniversary.
adorable.
Every year on our anniversary, I'm like, why are you still with me?
Why are you still with
I keep trying to get you to hate me.
Try harder.
And every year I do. With more love.
More fingers.
More fingers. Alright, you thought I was the child. Okay.
Alright, well, today...
I don't think I can type. I'm gonna try.
We are actually talking about children and how to keep them engaged.
Yes.
And
Not engaged like married, like not like that.
Yes, not engaged like that, but how to
Marry
keep
them
them productively occupied, because I think a lot of people are now at home with their kids while the grown-ups still have to work, or at least are trying to work.
Wait a minute, listen to what you just said. A lot of people are at home with their kids while the grown-ups still have to work.
While they have...
Like the grown-ups are others, like, okay, so all of y'all are kids too. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
We all got sent home from work and school and stuff like that, and you all were like told, I don't actually know what you were told, but I imagine you were told to continue educating your children, here's some textbooks, go have a good time, oh, and still have to do your job.
Yeah.
And nobody really told anybody how to do that. So I see in the online chat for my work has about 200 people, and I see that there are people with varying degrees of success, varying degrees of patience, varying degrees of frustration, varying degrees of everything. And it's okay that you don't know what you're doing. Because nobody taught you.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. But there are people who are in the same situation as you, and we actually invited one of such people to the show today. But before we make that phone call, let me explain some of the things that I'll be doing here on my coloring page so that I can get started with the coloring, and then we'll call our special guest and we'll have a nice long talk about kids while we color. Oh my god, that was such a smooth transition, I missed it. Okay. When tech support does his job too well.
I'll try to make it rougher.
Yes, please. Anyway, yesterday we colored the main lantern in yellow, and today our main objective is to start building up more darkness behind the girl, and also to start adding color to her coat, and if we have time, to her hair. So the main colors that I'll be working with today are really dark browns, and any kind of a really dark brown will work, regardless of what kind of pencil set you have. I have here a bunch of Black Widows, some Lyras, and a Prismacolor. And my main choices here are different variations of a dark sepia color. So any kind of a dark brown color. I would pick 3 different tones at least, and play around with how dark you can get the background to be. And also to add a little bit of variation so that it's not all the same dark brown, but try to add a slightly different color to the hair than you do to the background, for instance. And I will also be using 2 Prismacolors, a dark purple and a crimson red. So,
Whoa.
Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
The software just crashed.
I'm good.
Yeah. It doesn't affect the stream. It's cool. The software can crash, but the stream keeps running.
That's pretty cool.
How cool I am.
You're so cool. All right, so I'll just get started. And we already marked our areas that will be lit by the lanterns. And we'll add that yellow glow at the very end once we've established all the darkness. So today I'm just going to be building up the dark background, and then I may interrupt our discussion just to announce a color or something. And if you guys have questions, please put them in the live chat in all caps, because a lot happens during these streams and we can't keep up with the chat, especially when we have a guest. But if any of our mods are in the chat, Cindy, if you're there, please, if there are questions that are going by, just scream at tech support in all caps, and
I will ignore you.
And he will ignore you, and eventually, by the end of the show, we'll have a few minutes where we'll go over the chat and see if there are any questions that we missed.
My mom is here.
Hi, Mom!
She says she knows about trying to keep a special child engaged.
Bethel.
Bethel. Okay.
Cute. All right, let's do this.
All right, so I will activate my...
Wait, let's introduce the guest. Let's explain what we're calling. Nah, let's just call it.
All right, so I'm going to take off my 6-fingered glove here and...
Oh. Did you hear the heartbreak in my voice?
I'm not even going to address it. Anyway. So this young lady who will be joining us is a friend of mine from Colorado. She and I have known each other for somewhere in the vicinity of 25 years, although, like many long-term friendships, there was a window of multiple years where we just lost touch with one another. She homeschools her kids, and her husband also works from home. So this situation that all of us are dealing with is normal for her, and she has experience in keeping kids entertained and on task, or at least attempting to. I don't know how successful she is, but since she does this, I asked if she would come on the show, and we have some questions for her.
From our patrons.
We have questions from our patrons. And Lisa just fell in a well.
What? Oh, my audio. Do I sound
hang on. Yeah, I know what this is.
I'm like, no, I didn't. I know. Hello.
Okay,
hello.
Lisa's not in a well anymore.
Hello.
Lisa's not in a well. We fixed it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm okay now? I'm
Yeah.
okay again?
It's all good.
Okay. Thank you.
I was doing so well.
Even though we have pre-prepared questions from our patrons, anyone who's in the live chat, please feel free to ask questions if they occur.
Yeah, I was saying that until I saw that I was going to get fired.
You're not going to get fired.
Okay.
All right.
Back on task.
Let's
we are going
do
to
this.
call Allison.
Allison.
The funny thing is there's a delay of about a minute between when we say something and when it actually shows up in the stream and you guys can hear it. And so we have to pause long enough for Allison to hear that we're about to call her.
She'll hear it once the phone is already ringing.
Hello.
Hi, Allison.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, we're good. We're
We're
good. Let me
good.
turn the volume up on my phone so people can hear you. Okay, so I'm leaning over the phone now with my microphone. Hi, how's your day?
Wonderful.
Said with such a tone of sincerity.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a day.
Okay.
Well, thank you for
It,
joining us.
oh, thank you for having me, Lisa.
Anytime.
I love your little Sue dog.
Aw, thank you.
So because we're calling over Skype, there's also a slight delay in stuff. So there's a chance that we might accidentally talk over one another. Don't sweat it. We'll figure it out.
We're not usually that rude.
All right. So yes, thank you for joining us. Before we start with the questions, why don't you take a moment and tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Because I think you can probably do a better introduction than I just did.
Okay. I'm Allison, and I have been homeschooling my son, who is 6. He started kindergarten this year. We're with in the K-12 program at the International Academy. It's a private school, and it's been really great. My son, even though he started kindergarten late, normally they start at 5. He's finished with kindergarten math, and he's moved on to first grade and stuff like that.
Okay.
he's getting ready to move on to first grade phonics. So
Okay.
homeschooling's pretty awesome.
How exactly, like, I don't actually know anything about homeschooling, how it normally works. Do they provide you with all of the curriculum and the scheduling, and like you have to teach this by this date, and then do they do testing? Do they like send somebody to your house to do the testing at the end of the year?
No, you do testing online through the OLS, the
Oh, they
school
can do it
system.
online now.
And they usually do, a test a week, or maybe there'll be a couple of small tests that take, 10 minutes to complete. So they're constantly tracking how a child is moving and learning. And yes, they do send the entire curriculum. I mean, I get my lesson guides are gigantic, massive books that are just guides for me. Tells me exactly what to say to my kid and how to say it, and they give you lots of, for math, there's lots of blocks, and for counting with, and you get little tiles with letters on them for phonics. So they send all of that to you.
Okay. Hold on for just a moment. People are asking what color you're using, Lisa.
I am using a color that is very manly. It's called Mud.
Mud.
From the Black Widow set. Okay. The basic Black Widow set.
I'm between leaning over the phone. I'm also watching the chat, and I'm seeing people like, hey, color.
So it's fascinating though, because it appears to me that people, that grown-ups have to learn how to teach and then teach.
Yeah. What would you say, Allison, is the biggest benefit from homeschooling that you get? Like, why is it so awesome?
Our flexibility. If my kid is just not in the right mindset to do school, we blow it off.
Nice. I bet he loves it.
And get back to it tomorrow, and just hit it a little harder. And a lot of times that little break, that little reset, once a month or whatever, can really do wonders for my son's focus and just keeping him in line. And some days we blow it off and decide to do it in the evening.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Or we can go outside and sit in the grass and
That's nice.
do school outside.
Okay.
So
Well,
the flexibility of it is the best part, for sure.
okay.
That's cool.
One of the questions that we have from a patron is, my child is 7 and had worksheets sent for him to do each day, and then depending on the day of the week, music, art, and gym. What can I do to keep him engaged? He doesn't want to focus. Something that would normally take less than 30 minutes takes several hours. Do you ever find yourself in that situation, and do you have any advice?
I do. First, I'm going to say you're going to need to try lots of different things, because, every kid is different, and what might work for mine is not necessarily going to work for yours. But the first thing that I would do is ask him his thoughts on why he's having such a hard time getting through these relatively simple worksheets, and see if he has any ideas as to what would help keep him more focused on the task. And then, you can do things like maybe do the elective courses first to get his brain tinkering in art or, physical, and see if that helps him to focus. Maybe try having him shower in the morning when he wakes up.
Oh, that's
for
interesting.
School instead of before bed, or vice versa if he already showers in the morning.
So things to break the routine.
To break the routine.
Yeah. Try moving around from room to room in your house and see if the space is distracting for him. Keep toys away.
Keep toys away.
I learned that the hard way. My son was doing a test in history, and he was learning about directions, and he's supposed to be getting, using this little toy. It's part of the class. He's supposed to use a toy and show me which way is north, which way is south. With the toy, he got all 4 directions wrong. Took that toy away, and in 15 seconds later, he got every single one of them right.
Oh, wow.
So
Interesting.
he's clearly very, very easily distracted. So, that's, I wouldn't do school in my kid's room, I would do it at the dinner table or on the couch or outside, something like that.
As adults, so I've worked from home for the better part of my entire adult life, and there's the same rules apply when working. It's better to have a dedicated workspace. It's better it's better to put on work clothes and recognize that I'm in now the workspace, and then I go and I sit and I do the work, independent of I don't go sit on the couch and do work, because those things are harder because my brain is like, oh, I'm in relaxed mode. So I imagine that the strategies here would also work for any adults who are finding it difficult to focus on working from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
We have a whole office set up for my son, and sometimes he's really good about focusing there. Sometimes I have to move him. He's fidgety and stuff like that. So if we go to a different room of the house, it can help click his little brain back into learning to just change it up.
Yep. Would you ever use more favorite subjects as rewards for sticking with the more challenging subjects, or for finishing those parts first?
Well, I suppose I would.
Is it something that you've done? Is that's something that somebody just posted in the chat, and I was just wondering if that was a strategy
My mom
that
used
you
to
have
do that with
found
me.
to be effective?
It's I guess I've done it a little bit. He really, really loves history and science. Please, Mom, can I do another science today? Can we do 2?
No.
Sure, kid. I'm certainly not going to tell you no.
But do you ever say, well, let's do math, and then we'll do science after?
I haven't actually done that, but
Okay.
I don't see why that wouldn't be a fantastic idea for motivating your kid.
Okay. So somebody else asks, well, they don't ask, they wrote a paragraph, which I will read. I have 2 boys who are being taught from home. The older one is 9, and the younger one is 6. Both are in the same school, but I have daily lessons for the older one, and basically just a sheet that says these are good websites and not much else. I imagine that's for the younger one. Yes, basically, yeah. I want to have structured lessons for both without having them online constantly. Are there any websites that you can recommend for me to plan lessons for my youngest that won't cost a whole bunch of money? And it's okay if you don't have an answer for that.
First, I would suggest that you talk to your teachers or the youngest son's teacher and be like, what the hey, this is not really working for me. You need to help give me some more guidance. You need to step up. That would be my first suggestion.
Get with the program.
Right.
Websites, yeah, that seems a little strange. You can also, if you are finding that their school is just not going to do it, for now, sign up with a public school through K-12 or Connections, and it's free when you do the public schooling, and it'll be an actual lesson guides and stuff like that, and do that through the rest of the year or something. There's also like ABC Mouse. That's going to be a lot of online stuff. And I guess just tinker around. Learning books that you can buy at the grocery store.
Oh, good idea.
You know how they have those workbooks?
Mm-hmm.
They're super cheap, like $4 a pop.
Oh, nice.
And, you know, that 5 pages a day as a work course or something. Those would be my suggestions.
Okay.
I'm switching to purple, by the way, you guys.
Lisa is switching to purple. Kat says in the chat that another site is teacherspayteachers.com, which are lesson plans by Moffat girls, are amazing for those grades and very affordable.
Oh, cool.
She continues with, and they are current with in-school curriculum. Here in Oregon, we don't have an official homeschool program. So Kat also homeschools her kids. No, well, she homeschools now, but she was homeschooled when she was younger. Okay, moving on because we have more questions and less time.
Yes, and I'm sure more questions are coming in.
So, somebody asks, why is having kids at home now so different from having them home on vacation? It's like they're being more difficult for some reason. Do you think it's the stress or the lack of socializing with other kids?
Or
All
is
of
it
the
different at
above.
all? Oh!
All of the above. How would you handle, or how would you suggest that somebody, like if their kids are being more difficult because of that, obviously you can't send them to your friend's house or something like that. Do you have any?
No, but Skype play dates would be a good idea.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Bust out some Legos for a couple of kids, for both kids, and let them build in front of the computer and chat, and just play.
Very nice.
So exactly like what we adults are trying to do to stay sane.
Yeah. Yeah, except the adults are getting together on Zoom at the end of the workday and drinking gin and tonics.
Right, the
like
kid
the way it
version of
goes.
that.
Yeah, don't give your kids gin and tonic.
Yeah.
No, but we get together in color.
Our kids are definitely picking up all the stress that we're putting down. You know, they're little sponges. They know all of our emotions.
Yeah.
So of course they're feeling stressed.
So what can you say to kids when they're asking questions like how much longer until they can play with their friends?
The truth, we don't know.
Oh, that's great.
Does that ambiguity or that uncertainty frighten them?
My kids don't seem to be overly terrified of it. They're just looking towards the future. Okay, when the sickness is gone, I can't wait to go to the playground. And when the sickness is gone, we're going to go on a big hike. We're going to go camping. We're going to get together with our friends. So for my kids, anyway, they're just focused on when this is all over.
Is it helpful to go through visualization type exercises with them where they can get excited about the thing that they will be doing in the future and kind of satisfy that part of the brain that wants to be doing it now?
That would be great for certain kids. Mine don't need help with that, but I, for sure, if kids are feeling extra overwhelmed, especially for like older kids, teenagers and stuff like that, they're a lot more aware of how different things are right now.
They probably just sneak out of their house.
They probably need more
Probably do.
guidance. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
They might need more guidance in that than the younger kids.
Okay. Can spending all of this time with your kids who are not used to having so much time with their parents backfire? And the question continues with, should kids at home have a certain amount of alone time? And if so, what can they be occupied with other than video games and iPhones and iPads and stuff like that?
Yes, they definitely deserve to have some alone time. And, let them choose. Or if they're like, I'm bored, I don't know what to do, you can suggest puzzles or reading or lots of Legos or coloring, taking naps. Have them go outside and get dirty.
Nice.
Nice. Dirty is important. Kids love dirt.
Yes, it is very important.
What do you think of the
I
what do you think of the online museum and zoo tours? Have you done any of those?
We haven't yet, but that I have been wanting to. personally, I want to check out the Winchester Mystery House, but
Nice.
I don't think I'll be taking the kids on that one.
There's actually a link in the description. There was something posted on CNN today about a bunch of K-12 programs that you can get off of the NASA website, where they're broken down by grade level. So younger kids can do more simpler things, and older kids can do older things, and they range from like building a space station, creating
awesome.
a lunar calendar. Apparently this week. This is the largest supermoon this year, and there's another supermoon coming up in May. So if you can get outside and look at, it's probably still full.
Yeah, it's
the
been
moon
super bright.
is crazy right
Very
now.
crazy.
Yeah. And so they have a bunch of programs on there.
Yeah.
So we put a link in the description for that for anybody who's interested or has kids that are science focused.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I have taken up more time of yours than what I promised you we would. So before we let you go, do you have any closing thoughts or anything that you would like to share with everybody?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And if you would like to come back, if you think of anything in the future and you want us to bring you back on, we do these
Just let us know.
4 days a week. Just let me know, and we would love to have you back.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Thank you guys so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your night.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. That was Allison, everybody.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison.
I found it fascinating that it's not actually as terrifying to be homeschooling your kids as most people led me to believe. Like, she actually had a lot of really positive things to say about it, like being able to teach them at different times of the day and be more in control of what they're learning and stuff. Like, she started out with saying how awesome homeschooling is, not how I'm stuck with my kids all of a sudden.
Right.
It's like, homeschooling is great. Here's why it's great. I found that to be very refreshing.
There are a zillion things also in the chat that people are posting about other things you can do with your kids. Making slime, making something called gack, which sounds like something that all kids should make.
Yeah.
Warm ice, these are from Cindy, so I imagine you can find stuff. My mom recommends cooking with kids, so you can teach them measurement and oven temperature, time, following directions. Kat says baking.
Oh, Kat does this thing with her kids that I printed out. She actually makes a schedule every day, and of course it's Kat, so she has little illustrations on it because Kat's an artist and a cat. So she makes these amazing charts for her kids that are really easy to follow and are very friendly, and they have them up on the fridge or the wall or whatever, and now it's like this official schedule for the day. It's not, Mom said I have to do something out of the blue, so I'm tired of Mom telling me stuff. It's the schedule for the day. Everyone has to honor it. So she finds this to be very helpful, and this is one of her actual schedules. So Kat is in the chat, so you guys can ask her more. Kat's in the chat, so you guys can ask her directly.
I do not want green eggs and children in my house.
Is she?
I do not want them with a mouse. I do not want them here and there.
Is Kat in the chat as Kat in the chat? Is Kat in the chat as Kat or is Catherine?
Catherine Dattilo.
Catherine Dattilo. Oh, there you go. She's there. Go bother her.
Yes, because we're out of time.
Because we are out of time, but we didn't come to a stopping point yet, so I need a few minutes still. I've done a layer of brown, dark brown, mud, which isn't a very helpful name.
Mud.
Because it's just not a useful name.
Because
Because
of the wonderful things he does.
it's a sepia color. It's a very, very dark sepia, and any dark sepia from any pencil set will work just as well. So a dark brown to start building up my background, and it will get even darker after this. And then I did a base layer of purple on the coat and on the hair, and now I'm adding red to the coat. I'm trying to build up brown and purple undertones for pretty much everything in this picture that's outside of the lanterns and the light that the lanterns shine directly onto the object. Now, these lanterns are paper lanterns, so they don't cast a lot of light. They're literally only casting like a few inches of light around them, and everything else is quite dark and dim. So most of the colors will be very muted and very dark, and there will be very little definition on the darker parts of the drawing. Like this part of the dog will be almost entirely in darkness. But we are darkness. But we are building up all these effects and colors layer by layer because it does pay off. The effect will be wonderful.
Kat says that she likes the way, she loves the way that the code is coming along. It's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. It makes up for the lantern not being red. But these lanterns will be red. I just wanted the center one to be yellow. And if there are any questions for me in the chat, please put them in all caps. And if we completely ignored them, if they went by, please write them again in all caps so that we see them now. Or Cindy, if you found any, please also just scream at tech support.
I was doing a good job. I've got them all.
Oh, I know. It wasn't.
There's no more.
It wasn't a statement.
There's no more.
Okay.
All the questions in the chat have been answered.
Okay.
I'm a good tech support.
I know you're a good tech
yes,
support.
I am.
You're the best tech support. The bestest. So how did your mom deal with you when you were a kid? Did you have to get homeschooled at all
I
at
was
any
not
point?
homeschooled. No, I wasn't homeschooled. I'm. Oh.
You want to talk about your childhood a bit?
No. Okay, so
No.
I am smart. Oh, Kat wants to know what's on your shirt today.
Oh, my shirt says...
Hang on, I'll switch you to here. Hang on a second. Okay, you've been switched.
Oh, I don't think they can see my shirt though. Let's see if I can make myself higher in my chair. My shirt says... I don't know if they can see it.
It says COV.
And it's crossed out. It's an anti-COVID sign. I made it. And on the back of my t-shirt, I don't know if I can show them that.
No,
we'll show them another day.
Yeah.
But yes, it's my anti-COVID shirt. So it's my colors representing.
Right.
So tell them about your childhood and what kind of a child you were.
I was a very smart child, and as a very smart child, I was also very difficult to keep, I don't know, not even really entertained, but if you left me alone for too long, I would just come up with something to do, and something to do invariably involved taking things apart or lighting things on fire or whatever. So I started kindergarten a year early, and then I took kindergarten and first in 1 year. So I turned 5 in second grade, and I graduated from high school when I was 16. So I was 2 years advanced through all of school, which led to lots of social problems because I was smarter than everyone else, and I told them that I was smarter than them, and they were bigger than me. But my educational story is filled with interesting things like getting kicked out of my first junior high school because the school did not have a curriculum that could support me. So I was in their most advanced classes, and I would finish all of the lesson and all of the homework in the first 20 minutes of class, and then I would proceed to harass the other students and just be a total clown and act out for attention and stuff like that. So my parents tried to find programs that would work for me. I remember I took my SATs when I was really young, and I did really well. The only things I didn't do well on were things that I hadn't gotten old enough to understand or learn or encounter. My mom can tell you in the chat what my IQ was tested at when I was 4.
This is why he's tech support.
Yeah, so while I wasn't homeschooled, I definitely was a difficult child to educate. I got kicked out of my junior year pre-calculus class for not doing the homework, not taking notes. You get to take notes in a notebook and turn it in as part of the midterm. So I wouldn't take notes, I wouldn't do the homework, and I would ace the tests, and my teacher said that was disruptive to the rest of the class, so she kicked me out and told me I had to finish the rest of the class in study hall. And I was like, okay, I didn't like you anyway. And I finished the rest of the class in study hall.
Like, I'm happy you're here anyway.
So what I learned is that the educational system is not built for people at either ends of the bell curve.
Right.
And that's unfortunate. The end.
The end. I like your story.
I came out okay, but it's not for any lack of trying to come out not okay.
You did. I found it interesting. I didn't want to interrupt Allison when she was talking. When she said about toys, how distracting toys are. When I was a kid, my mom was pretty strict with the way that she raised me, and toys were, I always had a lot of toys, but they were very specific toys for me to keep at home for playtime. I wasn't allowed to take my toys outside to play with other kids with toys. Like if I had a friend come over, we could play with my toys, but I could never take my toys to their house or take my toys to the playground. Like they were just my house toys. But in school, in junior school, first, second, third, and fourth grade in Russia, we had a play corner that had a beautiful rug and some bean bags and a bunch of stuffed animals that were supposed to be like a recreation corner for the kids so that we could unplug and play there. And I wasn't allowed to play there. Like I was supposed to be disciplined enough to go to school and just do school stuff and sit at my desk and do my homework and walk in the hallway during recess and then come back to class and then go straight home after school so that if I want to, I can play with my own toys. And I thought that was normal. That's how my mom raised me. Like I didn't see anything wrong with it. But one day we all went to the playground and like the teacher literally told us, you need to pick a toy and take a toy to the playground with you. So I was totally torn. Like my mom tells me you can't take toys out, and the teacher says this is your assignment, you have to take a toy or else. So I picked this big red dog, this giant stuffed dog that I took with me to the playground, and of course I stood out like a girl with a big red dog. And my mom happened to be going to the grocery store, and she saw me from halfway across the neighborhood with this giant red dog, and I was totally in trouble later that day. She was like, what are you doing? We have rules. And I didn't understand it back then. I was like, wow, grown-ups are really confusing. But having heard this tonight, it totally made sense that we had that rule at home, that with toys, I just wouldn't do so well in school.
I remember in fourth grade, there was a table next to or a desk that was next to where the teacher's desk was, and it was where the bad kid in class sat. His name was Adam Palmer. He was one of those fourth graders who shaved. You all know who I'm talking about. The one who's like the mutant child who's all hairy and like comes from the alcoholic family and is like beats up the smart kid in class. That was me. Anyway, Adam Palmer sat at that table, and I also had to sit at that table because while I wasn't a bad kid in the same way that Adam Palmer was, I was a bad kid in the sense that I just didn't participate in class. I was like, no, I'm smarter than you. I don't have to do this. And I remember very vividly, on multiple occasions, my fourth grade teacher standing over me in front of the entire class, yelling at me, the rules apply to you. Over and over, the rules apply to you. And I was like, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care who put you in a position of authority. The rules don't apply to me. And
they don't.
And they don't. And they never have.
They still
and they
don't.
Still don't. Which is part of why I live in the middle of nowhere. Because here, my kingdom, my rules, and this world works for me. So I recognize that the rules exist for a reason. I think that oftentimes that reason is subjective, and that the rules exist more for control than because they actually need to exist. But that's a topic for another show.
Yeah, we'll definitely have that topic. Okay, I'm using two last colors, and I'm adding them to the face. This is a burnt ochre, and this is an olive brown. One is a Prismacolor and one is a Black Widow from the skin tone sets. For alternatives, any kind of an orangey brown. So a burnt ochre is a pretty common color in most pencil sets. So if you can get a burnt ochre, that's great. If not, anything that's like an auburn middle brown, whatever I have here. Oh, that's another burnt ochre. I have two of them. I'm like, this would work just as well because it's the same exact color. And for this lighter color, an olive brown can also be any kind of a very light brown or like a dusty orange or a cream. So if you have the Prismacolor, not the Prismacolor, the Black Widow skin tone sets, that would be ideal because it has some of the best light tones for skin highlights. But if not, something that's a yellowish kind of a cream will be great. Or just a middle brown with a little bit of a yellow highlight, just a tiny bit, not a lot. We don't want her face to actually look yellow, but we want some yellowish glow from the lantern. And I'm just going to finish up that shading on the face and we'll be done for today. Anything else in the chat that we need to address? And we're, of course, totally over time again, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, we're 10 minutes over, but whatever.
Oh, 10 minutes is not so bad.
Yeah, you already shut me down. I'm not going to say it.
I did?
I said, we're almost out of time. No, we're not. Nope, we're not. We got lots of time. Time for days, said the well-behaved husband.
No. Okay. Well, I'm almost done for real, I swear. I just want to show them the Patronus before we go.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so my patrons already heard the news that I will be teaching you guys how to draw a Patronus. And for those of you who are muggles and who don't know what a Patronus is...
And if you don't know what Harry Potter is, you're like, what did she just call me? It's Adam Palmer. Adam Palmer's in the chat right now being like,
I'm no muggle. For those of you who are not Harry Potter fans, a Patronus is like your spirit animal who appears all glowing and ethereal, and it can be any animal at all, but your animal stays your animal. For instance, mine is a fox.
And the Patronus charm is used to counteract it can counteract any amount of evil. Mm-hmm. So the most evil thing that's standing in front of you, you can summon your Patronus, and it doesn't matter how big and scary that thing is, it will be banished by the light and the love that your spirit animal...
And even if your Patronus is a bunny rabbit, that bunny rabbit will defeat the biggest, darkest...
Bunny rabbit is bad.
That's right. Luna had bunny rabbit. Luna in Harry Potter, not our Luna.
Yeah. I'm like, Luna? Bunny rabbit Patronus charm? That's crazy.
Well, anyway, I drew a Patronus for you guys to see if I can even draw one. So I made one with watercolor paints. For some reason, I couldn't think of that word. Watercolor something. With watercolor and pencil, I've made this Patronus for you as a test run. And of course, I recorded it, so there will be a flick showing you how it was done. And as we speak, the patrons are voting on the next animal that we should turn into a Patronus. And so far, the fox is winning. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will announce their final vote. And that's what we shall make together. So I thought that would be a fun thing to do with your kids as well, because I will show you several ways to make these little animals glow. And this exact page came from my book that's actually for kids. I have one coloring book that is for kids, and it's called Lisa's Wildable Lovinglings.
Wildable Lovinglings.
Wildable Lovinglings. Lisa's Lovable Wildlings. And that's me on the cover. You can probably recognize the hair and my key and my tail. And it's a book full of tiny creatures of all sizes. Tiny creatures, giant creatures, adorable creatures. The stag is from this book. So I thought we could pick an animal from this book and turn it into a Patronus. So far, it seems that we'll be working with these guys, the foxes. So I will turn it into just a single character on a page for you guys and post it. Why is speaking so hard tonight? Dear God. I will turn this into a single character page and post it in my Facebook group. Tom. I think I'm done speaking for tonight.
Speak is hard.
Speak is hard, but we came to a nice stopping point, and I will probably do some more coloring tonight, and I will post my progress in the group, and tomorrow we can continue. Because next week we have to do the Patronus, and I'm also getting you guys started on more crystal coloring. So we have a lot to cover, a lot new adventures, more glowing effects, and fun guests.
Oh. Yes, I spoke to I told you the two people.
Let's switch to us.
We're on this. Look, just.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
I told y'all last night that I know two people who were sick with COVID-19, both of whom are recovered, and I spoke with one of them today, and one of them is not her. I spoke with one of them today and asked if he would be willing to come on, and he said that he would like to, though because he did not officially get tested because of the limited number of tests, he wasn't a severe enough case, he was told to just go home, but he was suspected positive, and the symptoms that he had totally 100% matched the symptoms of COVID-19. So I think it's fair to say that he had it. And so we're coordinating to get him on the show next week.
Ooh, fantastic.
Where he can answer your questions about what it's like and anything you want to know about it.
I'm very excited about this guest.
Yeah,
I want to know everything.
he's a cool dude.
Yeah, thanks for making it happen.
Well, we're still working on it. Subscribe to the channel, you'll get a notification.
That's right. You know the drill. Like this video if you like it. Click the thumbs down button twice if you didn't like it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
That sounded so weird. You're like, if you like it, click the thumbs down button.
No, if you like it, click
If you like it,
up.
click the thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, click the thumbs down button twice.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, but if you listen to it, it says, if you like it, click the thumbs, because you say, click the thumbs up button. If you like it, click the thumbs down button. You have to pause. So just to be clear, if you like it, don't click the thumbs down button. Don't.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And don't lick strangers.
What was it today? Don't lick Talca?
Don't lick Talca. Talca is the town that's the closest town to us. I actually ventured out into the wilderness of our nearby town today, so I will tell you.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
I will tell you all about it tomorrow.
So tomorrow's got to be don't lick Talca. So today it's don't lick.
Today it's don't lick
Don't
children.
lick the bat. Don't lick children.
Don't lick children.
That's good advice. 100% of the
Just
time.
don't lick children. Don't do it. All right, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.